Hello, hi, welcome. My name is Sharon. I am the communications coordinator at Lake Family Resource Center. And today we want to talk about what is love. Before we get into that, I want to share with you about the month of February. The month of February is National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, which is why we are introducing videos that talk about healthy relationships, preventative methods, and we posted some videos about warning signs, and we will be posting throughout the month of February. The color of teen dating violence awareness is orange. February 9th is called Wear Orange Day, which is a day that we encourage everybody to wear the color orange to show solidarity in the awareness around teen dating violence. If you do happen to wear orange on the 9th, we would love for you to get a picture and share it with us on our Facebook. In addition, tomorrow on our local radio station, 88.1 FM at 2 p.m., we have a Family Strong Hour where myself and coworkers will be discussing teen dating violence in a little bit more depth and discussion. So if you're able to join us tomorrow at 2 at 88.1 FM, you can listen online or on the radio. So in addition, after this presentation, I will be available on the Lake Family Resource Center Facebook page, where you can connect with me if you have questions, either by sending us a message, or we have a group available that's linked to our Facebook page that says Lake FRC Teen Talk. So again, if you're at our Lake Family Resource Center Facebook page, you can look at linked groups and you will see Lake FRC Teen Talk. And that's another place to go to further discussion, where we will be posting things like this presentation, videos and other things like that to discuss. It is a private group, so you will have to answer questions in order to be added. But it's a great place if you're interested in talking in more depth or you have questions. And again, you can also send a message through Messenger at our Lake Family Resource Center page, and I will be available for a short time after this presentation for further questions. Okay, so let's get started. Today we're talking about what is love. Let me pull up my slides. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, I'm hoping everybody can see this. So today we're talking about what is love. Again, this is in response to teen dating violence awareness. One of the biggest ways to prevent something like this occurring for yourself, or if you have a teen in your life and you're working with them, is to talk about what healthy relationships look like. And in order to talk about what healthy relationships look like, we have to talk about what is love? What does love look like? To start with the foundation, right? This is a great quote from Brene Brown. If you haven't explored her, she is fabulous at explaining things like these concepts we're talking about with loving oneself and vulnerability. And quoted from her, "We can only love others as much as we love ourselves," meaning that it starts with you, right? How do you know what love feels like? Or how do you know what it feels like for you to give love if you don't do that within yourself? To explain the core concept of what love is, at least in the definition I'm using today, is that there's two components. There's a will to extend yourself in order to, a desire to put an effort forward, either for someone else, but in this case also yourself, which is definitely where you should start. And then the second component is that nurturing, so the supporting and encouraging. So you have a will to extend oneself and you're nurturing and being supportive. An example how this might look with somebody that, say, a sibling in your life would be like, say, you have a brother who's studying for important finals or an important test, and also has laundry to occur. Maybe you offer to not only do your own laundry or chores for say, but also to include doing your siblings' chores in order to allow them to have, the time to study and become more confident in the test that they're getting ready to take. This is an example of love because, one, you have the will to extend yourself. You're willing, or the desire to extend yourself by doing extra laundry or extra chores for your sibling. And you're nurturing. You're doing it to encourage them to spend time prepping for their test, and you're doing it in order, to be supportive of them. So that's an example of what love can look like. And again, these two concepts, the will to extend yourself and to nurture, do that with yourself. Extend your effort and your energy towards taking care of yourself, and nurturing and supporting and being encouraging of yourself. And that's one of the best ways you can start to really understand what makes you feel loved, and how you like to give love to others. So a definition of love that we are going to discuss, what is love? When you love someone, and again, even yourself, you are encouraging and supporting their growth towards becoming a better person, and you are willing to put some effort into it. So this comes from the Yourself series curriculum, which is a teen curriculum that we have at Lake Family Resource Center. And I really like this quote because it's a great quote to further dive into the definition that I gave you. You're encouraging, you're supporting, you want the people around you and yourself that you love to be growing, and you want to be a part of the journey for them becoming a better person, and them improving, or them achieving what it is that they want in life. So we're going to pause for a quick second, and I want you to think about that definition. I'll read it again. When you love someone, even yourself, you are encouraging and supporting their growth toward becoming a better person, and you are willing to put some effort into it. So take a minute to think about that and how, if you agree, do you agree with that definition of love? Does it resonate with you? Is there something that you would add to it? How would you change it? And take a second to sort of reflect on that. The first step to really understanding, love and communication and interactions with others is to know what is your definition, what is your baseline that you're working off of. And to do that, you have to reflect on the ideas. So again, take a moment to think about it. I'm going to read it one more time, and then we'll move on to a little activity to help sort of further this explanation. When you love someone, even yourself, you are encouraging and supporting his or her growth toward becoming a better person, and you are willing to put effort into it. So an activity that's a good way to sort of strengthen this concept is to think about 3 people you love in your life right now. You can write down the 3 names or just kind of think about it. Again, these sort of activities and reflections, questions will be posted in the teen group that I told you about. So in case you missed this or you want to do the activities more thoroughly, you can go to Lake Family Resource Center Facebook page, look at the linked groups, and you will see Lake FRC Teen Talk, where we can get more in depth with these things. But great activity is to write down 3 people that you do love, and name one way that you support their growth. Because if we're talking about love in the concept that I'm willing to put in the effort to somebody else's growth, what does that look like? For example, one of the people that I would put down that I love is my daughter. I have a young child, and I love my child. So what is one thing that I can do to support her growth? Well, right now she's in a development stage of lots of emotions and figuring out what these emotions are and how to regulate and respond to them. So the best way for me to support her growth is to have the space to listen to her and hear her at the development that she's at, meet her where she's at, in order to create that space for her to grow in that way. So a great activity, think of 3 people you love or more, and write an example of how do you support their growth? How do you give your love to these people? Some areas of love that we're talking about, just in order to provide a bit of a clearer example. We're talking a lot about the self. Again, it has to start with yourself. Ways to start that journey, the self journey of figuring out love and how you feel loved and what it means to you, is to ask yourself those questions. Do you love yourself? How do you nurture your own growth? So it's the same kinds of things that we were talking about. How do you define it for yourself? Do you feel when you're alone and reflecting, do you feel like you love yourself? Are you treating yourself like your friend? Another area of love is friendships, supportive and engaging friendships and what they look like. And then relationships, crushes, more than friend relationships. Relationships can look like a variety of ways. There's also our family and our mentors, pets, all important ways of loving and worth a reflection to think about. We're not going to dive into those kinds of relationships today, but I encourage you again to think about the things in your life that you love, how they are different to each other, how they're the same to each other, and what you're providing for growth. What did they provide for your growth? So loving yourself has a lot to do about taking control of love. Something that's very important to know, a foundation to build on, is that you get to decide how, when, if, why, and to who you give your love to. The love that you have in your energy is valuable and it's important. And so it's worth you taking the time and intentionally making choices as to how and to who and why you want to give that love to others. That is the step in loving yourself, because it's acknowledging that you're in control. It's acknowledging that you know how you want to give love to others, and giving you the time to take the control in how you want others to love you, and taking that time to really think about that and reflect on it for yourself. 2, boundaries. Boundaries is one of the most important things when we're dealing with friendships, relationships, even with mentors, teachers, any of them, any person that you have in your life that you interact with. Boundaries. What are your boundaries? How do you say no to things that are against, say, values or morals? Or if something's emotionally draining to you, you have an emotionally draining friendship or something. How are you saying no? Because again, if we're going to take control of love and how we give and receive love, then we also need to be able to communicate for the benefit of ourselves, and in order to show honesty and build trust with our friends and family and these people that we have these relationships with, by being able to clearly tell them what the boundaries are and give them the chance to respect us, and what boundaries we're comfortable with in our dynamic interactions with other people. And again, this will lead to, what does giving and receiving love, giving and accepting love look like to you? And a lot of self-reflection and work within yourself is where it starts, where you can begin to sort of internalize these ideas and become more clear on what feels like love to you, and what you want it to look like. again, you're going to notice we're emphasizing this a lot. Be your own best friend to discover what makes you feel loved and identify your own growth. So if we go back and we remember that two components of love that are really important is your will to put in that effort and the supporting and nurturing. And those things lead to a growth. And you want to be able to do that. We're the best person to practice these things with. Practice with yourself. Practice giving yourself support, encouragement. Think about your growth from last year to this year, or one friendship to a different friendship, or maybe a growth in a friendship. Think about these things and really take the time to get clear on the ideas, and it will help build the foundation for healthy relationships, friendships, dynamics with our families, and so on. Self-care is a huge part of this process of loving yourself and figuring out what love is for you. It needs to be something you enjoy doing. Some people feel like self-care is an obligation. You have to take a walk every day. You have to do yoga. You have to eat well. But self-care, it's less about, it's not a luxury, and it should be something that you enjoy to do, that you're not forced to do it. And it can look different for everybody. For me, self-care has a lot to do with writing. Like a lot of the reflection questions that I'm throwing out there, me taking time to think about them and writing responses to them, feels like self-care to me, because it's taking time to focus on myself and take care of myself and really get a good handle on how I am doing in this moment. So looking at friendships and relationships, again, we've so far, summarizing up to this point, talked a lot about what the components of love, effort and growth and support, the importance of doing that with yourself. But as we move within the world, we're going to develop friendships and at some point, crushes and relationships. And we also have relationships and friendships with other people in our lives, like our family. So what does it take for healthy relationships and friendships? Two of the most important components in building a healthy relationship with someone else is trust. So we look at trust. Let me pull this up. I love this example. And again, this is coming out of the Yourself series curriculum, which we do have at Lake Family Resource Center. And I love how they describe trust. Trust is the cornerstone of all friendships and relationships. You trust that a friend will keep your confidence, laugh with you, share thoughts with you, hang out with you, and do all sorts of stuff with you. So you're thinking about this idea that the trust is what allows us in our friendships to have those conversations you don't want to know, or somebody's pushing on your boundary. When we've built trust with someone and we're able to trust someone, that's where we get the space in order to feel safe and comfortable in talking to them about it. It takes a lot of patience. And so when we talk about the friendship bank, it's a really good example and way to think about how trust works. If you think of trust like money that you're depositing into a bank. So trust is money and we're depositing it into our friendship bank. So if I do something trustworthy, say I help somebody with homework, stand up to somebody, or stand up for somebody, listen to somebody, show compassion to somebody, doing those sorts of things with a friend, each action that I'm doing is another deposit into the friendship bank, which is building a foundation with that person of trust. It's providing them more and more real life examples that they can trust me, that I'm safe, that I care about them. And those are the kinds of things, again, that lead to love and friendships and relationships in a healthy way. when you hear somebody talking about what a good friend is to them, think about the time that they've been developing that friendship. Again, relationships and friendships both need that trust, and it takes a while to build it. And if you care about that person or the relationship you have with this person, be willing to give it that time, that real time, to build this authentic connection with them so that you can trust them and then they can trust you. The second important component for relationships and friendships is communication. So I'm going to read you an example of communication in a friendship between two friends. So we have Jim. This is a story about Jim. Now that Jim is dating Lila, Steve, who's his friend, is feeling left out. Jim used to spend every Tuesday afternoon with Steve, creating new computer codes for the video games they are building together. For the past 3 weeks, Steve has done a lot of it on his own. The first week, he was fine with it, but now he definitely misses his friend and his friend's input. When Jim blew Steve off the 4th week, instead of responding, "Okay, fine, no problem," Steve said, "Hey dude, I really need your help. Our game is not the same without you. I mean, I'm happy for you and Lila, but, well, can you see her on Wednesday or even afterwards?" Jim was happy that Steve did not tease him about Lila or even get mad at him. Jim changed his plans that week. We'd like to say that Jim never took a Tuesday with Lila again, but sometimes he did. But Steve continued to effectively communicate when he felt he was being left out, and that communication made the friendship even stronger. So when you're thinking of healthy love and what love looks like, again, when you've taken the time to build that foundation of trust and you have friends, relationships, people that you can trust in your life, we know people make mistakes or they might not realize your feelings until you express them. So if you're able to work on that communication piece, then it puts your friendship or relationship in a healthy realm where if they've hurt your feelings or are doing something and you want to express yourself, you can feel safe to do that and have that healthy communication. For example, Steve's problem wasn't necessarily that Jim had a girl that he was spending time with and dating. It was that his problem was they had this project together and he was missing his friend and needing his friend's help on this project. So instead of blaming his friend for standing him up or his relationship he has with Lila or any of that, he brought it straight back to him and his feelings and communicated, "Hey, I miss you. I could use help with this project. Can you prioritize this?" And that's an example of healthy communication in relationships and friendships. Again, to summarize, relationships is built over time. You have to take the time to build that foundation so that you can establish the trust and you can establish communication with each other in order to make sure that both your boundaries are being respected and that you feel safe talking to each other when things come up, maybe that like getting your feelings hurt or something like that. You're able to have that communication and create a stronger bond with this person. It's not a game. A lot of people say dating's a game. And some people do act like dating's a game and then play it like it is. But in healthy relationships, you should feel secure and clear and respected and seen. So again, when you're thinking about relationships, don't fall into the line of thinking, well, dating's a game and you have to learn some game to play. It's not. And you don't want to play dating like a game. You are a valuable person, and how and who you give your time to is important. And then again, how do you define dating is a really important step to take. What does going out mean to you? What does going out mean to your friends? What does hanging together mean to your crush? What does, spending time with someone, what does that look like in a friendship, and what does that look like in a relationship to you? By taking the time and looking at how you define dating for yourself, and then communicating with those around you about it, it can help you intentionally have these interactions with people, so that they're healthy and positive. Something important to always, always, always remember is to be nice toward yourself. And one of the ways to do that is that you always have a right to say no. Always 100% have a right to say no. Sometimes we are conditioned to believe that we need to be nice to others, and saying no is not a nice word, or we feel mean saying it, or guilty for wanting to say it. Sometimes we say yes when we want to be saying no. So this is just to emphasize for you that no, it's not a negative word. No is nice. It's nice to say no to others, not only just to respect yourself and your own boundaries, but because if you have healthy friendships and relationships with the people in your lives, they want to know if they're pushing a boundary. They want to know if now's not a time to chat. They want you, by communicating again your no's of where your lines are, you're being honest, and you're allowing the people that love you in your life to show you they love you with respect, by respecting what it is that you're saying. And then of course, consent. Always, always 100%. Every interaction you're having, especially if you're getting into intimate relationships, and holding hands or hugging or any of those things, make sure that you have consent, and that you're clearly giving consent, that you're okay with the activity that you're doing together, or make sure that you're saying no, so that then the people in our lives that love us have a chance to show that by respecting our consent or our no. So if we take a minute, again, this is a great time to take a second and reflect. How do your friendships and relationships reflect on the person you are? This, of course, other people are individuals and are themselves. You're an individual. I'm an individual myself. And something my friend might do doesn't necessarily reflect back on me. However, if I'm looking at my circle of people in my life, my relationships, my friends, my family, how do those things reflect on me? Do I have a lot of friends that respect boundaries? Do I have relationships I can communicate with the person in? And how is that making me, reflecting back on me? If I don't have friendships with trust in it, that could reflect on me as not being a trustworthy person. If I have friends in my life that I don't trust, or aren't trustworthy, then new friends or new relationships or other people in my life might see that as a reflection of my ability to trust, or where I'm at with trust. So it's worth reflecting on our own current relationships and friendships, and just thinking about how is this reflecting on me? And then also how that's reflecting in your life. Are these friendships, rich? Are these relationships healthy? Do I feel good about this? Are they helping me grow and be a better person? Am I helping them grow? And just taking the time to have those conversations with yourself. I'm going to show you a video now. I'm going to show this is a clear not love campaign. Again, we are talking about healthy relationships and teen dating violence, because February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And so let me show you this, which is a great visual example of what's not love.
Because I love you. I want
So I like this one because it's a really great example of, again, what is not love. Let me bring my slides back up here. You know, sometimes things that seem like love, it seems like someone cares for us, you know, because they're ask a lot of questions about who we're talking to, or they spin that way with their words again. But if we reflect back on what we've learned in this presentation, we know what are some of the things we know. Love is about the effort, the willingness to put in that effort, and supporting and encouraging the growth of others. So the quotes that these people are saying and the way that they're saying it, does that feel like it's going to help you grow? Does it feel like it's going to help you grow into a better person? Does it feel supportive? Does it feel encouraging? Are they supporting your growth? No, you're losing your friends. They said you don't talk to classmates in this video. So that's not really in the realm of supporting you and your growth and allowing you to support them and their growth, and having that healthy communication with each other. So that's it for our presentation today. I want to remind you that we are doing this because Teen Dating Violence Awareness is the month of February, the National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Campaign. All this month we will be posting on our Facebook, and each Wednesday at 4, we'll present some, either a video or something like this where we discuss more about it. And then again, I'm available after for more questions. You can reach me by either messaging Lake Family Resource Center's Facebook page through the messenger, or again, and I encourage you, if you want to continue discussing topics such as this or teen related issues, you can join our Lake FRC Teen Talk group. If you go to our Lake Family Resource Center Facebook page, look for the linked groups, you will see Lake FRC Teen Talk, and you can join it. It'll ask you a few questions and then you can get into the group, and that's where we're going to start building a platform to have further discussions, answer questions from teens themselves, caregivers of teens, those sort of things. So thank you so much for joining me today. And again, I'm going to be going off Facebook Live, but I'm still available for further discussions and questions. Message our page, you'll get me. And join the Teen Talk group. And I will post in there the reflection questions and activities I suggested. So again, I'm Sharon from Lake Family Resource Center. Thanks again for joining me and have a great rest of your evening.